Hey guys, how we doing? So we're back on another Swag Kage video, dissecting Sasuke Uchiha. I'm really enjoying these dissecting videos at the moment. Pretty damn cool. The Madara one was good. But let's just get straight into this. Full of cold still. Let's do this.
Oh boy, Sasuke Uchiha. If the comments on my last video talking about him didn't indicate this already for you, he's quite a controversial character to say the very least. The fandom cannot come to a consensus
random
about
use
him,
of, like,
with one chunk of it hating him,
characters.
one chunk of it worshipping him, and the other chunk not really caring either way. Now, I'll do my best to keep personal biases out of this video, since as many of you know, I do really like Sasuke as a character, but that might be a little easier said than done in a video of this format. I will say right off the bat that I do think Sasuke is incredibly complex, and while that's only based on my own interpretations of his actions and words, I do think that at some point anyway, Kishimoto did intend for Sasuke to be one of the most grounded, human, and three-dimensional characters that the series had to offer. Now, I can totally see why many people view Sasuke as a flat, jerk-ass Gary Stu who puts no thought into his actions and acts unreasonably and completely haphazardly, but at the same time, I wholeheartedly disagree with the idea, and I think that the people who do see him like this don't really understand his motivations or the way he thinks. Anyway, enough opinions. Let's get into the actual meat of this video and start breaking Sasuke down. The best place I can think to start with is Sasuke's relationship with his brother Itachi and how this relationship affected his motivations throughout the series. At the beginning of the story, Sasuke's one and only goal was to kill Itachi, and that was that. It was such a major part of his character that we are introduced to him with this in mind. Now, he doesn't specify
like straight away, like
when he tells Kakashi and the rest of Team 7 that he has a goal that involves killing somebody, but it's very obvious that he's talking about Itachi here. Now, understanding how this motivation affects the rest of his character is key to getting a grasp on who Sasuke is as a person. While it's very easy to view his grudge against Itachi as a very generic revenge subplot, it's certainly a whole lot deeper than that, as
because he was
Uchiha Clan
really close
Massacre
with him.
has a whole lot of implied secondary psychological effects on Sasuke throughout the series. It's shown to the audience through flashbacks that Sasuke was always a pretty quiet and nervous kid before his clan had been wiped out, so losing everyone he'd ever cared about turned him into a full-blown introvert. On top of that, the annihilation of his clan created more than just a personal hatred towards his older brother, as we can see through subtle bits of exposition that Sasuke doesn't just hate Itachi, he hates everything that Itachi stands for. There are many points in Part 1 alone where Sasuke chooses not to do something solely because he sees it as something his brother would have done. Well, it's not outright stated in all of these cases. It's a very feasible explanation for most of them. When Sasuke shielded Naruto from Haku's needles, for example, he even says himself he has absolutely no idea why he did it. It's body just moved on, so he did this because he thinks it would be too much like Itachi to just let a comrade die right in front of him.
He thinks
After he breaks Zaku's arms using the power of the curse mark in the Forest of Death, we see that Sasuke is genuinely afraid of himself, as after realizing that he acted in such a barbaric and heartless manner, he probably instinctively compared himself to his brother. He tells Naruto during the battle against Gaara that he's not willing to watch any more of his comrades die in front of him, and prepares to continue fighting Gaara in what is essentially a suicide mission, all because he thinks the act of running away to preserve his own life
so
when
much,
he could be
he?
saving the lives of his comrades is too much of an Itachi-like thing to do, and he refuses to kill Naruto to gain the Mangekyo Sharingan solely because that's what his brother asked him to do. Sasuke views doing this as a way of validating the way his brother gained power, and refuses to do it for this reason alone. Even by the end of Part 1, it's made abundantly clear that Sasuke has created his own set of morals, and that he is vehemently opposed to doing anything he thinks his brother might do. Not because of his own personal hatred towards Itachi, but because he views him as the sole representation of everything that is wrong with the world. He sees Itachi as pure evil, and for good reason, as at this point Itachi had made himself out to be an egomaniacal psychopath, a pure evil man with no pride or principles, who was concerned with no one other than himself. I think killing Itachi meant more than just getting revenge to Sasuke, as he felt almost morally obligated to kill his brother for the sake of making the world a better place. This is why at the beginning of Shippuden he seems like a completely different person than he is at its halfway point. As in Part 1, there are many instances in Shippuden where Sasuke is clearly shown acting in a way that he believes his brother would not, as with the exception of during his encounter with Team 7, Sasuke makes it very clear that he doesn't believe in killing people or forcing them to do anything he asks them to. When he recruits the members of Hebi, for example, he doesn't force any of them to join him, and instead only takes them along with him if they agree to come. He also makes it a point not to kill anyone in his conquest to find Itachi, unless A, he sees them as just as bad as Itachi was in the first place, like with Orochimaru, or B, it's in self self-defense, like with Deidara. There are also many small details throughout the series that support the idea that this is a moral conquest for Sasuke, and not a selfish fulfillment of revenge. He doesn't allow Sakura to come with him on his quest to kill Itachi because he believes it'd be too dangerous for her. He kills Orochimaru and expresses his disgust with him because of how similar he and Itachi are, and he expresses to various characters throughout the series who quell him from his quest for revenge that they don't understand what he's trying to do. And he outright refuses to allow anybody else to kill Itachi solely because he doesn't like the idea of somebody else shouldering what he believes to be his own moral burden. I definitely believe his interactions with Orochimaru are the best pieces of evidence here for this being a moral crusade as opposed to self-fulfillment. Initially, he was willing to let Orochimaru take his body if that meant he was able to kill Itachi, which does prove that he was willing to go to incredible lengths to ensure that Itachi was killed. But after spending so much time with Orochimaru, he learns that Orochimaru is no better than Itachi was, and that by giving him access to an Uchiha's body, he would just be gracing the world with a problem just as bad as Itachi was. He doesn't even kill Orochimaru out of self-defense, but because he believes it's just the right thing to do. He doesn't outright say many of these things because, as I've said before, the annihilation of his clan turned him into an introvert, so he doesn't feel the need to explain himself for the sake of the validation of others. On top of that, he even explains to Naruto that he doesn't think he, and by extension most people, would understand since they don't know what Sasuke knows. Sasuke's introversion also made his resolve to kill Itachi that much stronger, as by breaking any emotional ties that he had with other people, he was able to make the goal of killing Itachi all that he had to focus on. Due to the moral code he created for himself, I really don't think Sasuke thought ignoring Itachi's presence in the world was something he could do and still be in the right. Like I've said many times, I think he thought of it as a duty and felt morally obligated to kill Itachi to make the world a better place. Upholding his own morals was more important to him than anything else, which is why he prioritized killing Itachi over his own happiness, and also why at many points he prioritized the lives of others over his own. If this was a selfish conquest for revenge, Sasuke just flat out would not have risked his own life as many times as he did, and certainly not for the sake of other people. And now this is where we come to one of the most interesting character moments in the entire series, and what I personally believe to be one of the most interesting character moments in all of Shonen, when Sasuke learns the truth about Itachi and Obito. Hopefully I've established by now that Sasuke's entire code of morals was built around the idea that Itachi was an evil person. This means that everything about Sasuke as a person, the entire way that he's lived his life, needs to be redefined. His entire life was focused on the goal of killing Itachi. That is what he lived every day in pursuit of, and what he modeled his
Oh, come on, what's it doing now?
his entire life around. After finding out that he was wrong and that he actually didn't know anything about Itachi, Sasuke goes through an existential crisis and has an on-screen mental breakdown. This is more than just Sasuke reacting in a fit of denial. He's having a full-blown panic attack. He digs his nails into his hair, sweat begins to drip from his body like crazy, his pupils dilute, and he starts screaming at Obito that everything he's saying is a flat-out lie. If there's one single scene in the entire series that lends credence to everything I've said in this video so far, it is this one right here. It is one of the best animated scenes in the entire series, and the attention to detail here is magnificent. The animators at Studio Perio took great care in ensuring that Sasuke's trauma would be communicated to the audience here, as he really begins to question who he is and what he's supposed to do. Yeah, because
he's lived his whole life like based on a lie. Must have been
hours after the conversation with Obito, fully dressed and recovered, standing in a completely different location, still bawling his eyes out from the realization that Itachi was a good person. This realization causes Sasuke's character to pull a complete 180, as the previous perspective that he had on the world and everybody in it was shattered and replaced with a cynical outlook on life that made everybody seem like they couldn't be trusted. Killing people is no longer an off-the-table option for him now, since both Itachi, who he believed to be a good person now, and the Leaf Village, that he used to believe was full of good people, had done it on plenty of occasions. He makes the admittedly foolish leap in logic: if they can do it, why can't I? This is why he kills so many samurai at the 5 Kage Summit without remorse. At this point, he believes that warning somebody he will kill them if they don't get out of his way is enough to keep him on the moral high ground, as he moves tirelessly towards his new goal of destroy the hidden village. Many people see this as a very weird, haphazard jump for his character to make. And while I do sort of agree that Sasuke was acting a bit out of character during the 5 Kage Summit arc, it does make a whole lot of sense for him to act this way, considering, again, he's having what essentially amounts to an existential crisis. Many people criticize Sasuke for constantly changing his philosophical view on the world, but he only does this when he is presented with loads and loads of new information. See, many people seem to be under the impression that as soon as Sasuke found out that Itachi was a good person, he and Itachi began to share the same outlook on the world.
Nope.
This just isn't the case. Like I said before, Sasuke killing Itachi was what he believed to be doing the world a justice. It was a very small-scale goal, and wasn't something that he thought would make a whole lot of a difference, but it was still something that he was in pursuit of tirelessly. When he finds out that Itachi wasn't actually the bad guy in this situation, Sasuke decides that he needs somewhere else to direct his anger. There was somebody that absolutely ruined his life, and the idea of letting whoever that was completely off the hook just doesn't sit right with him.
No.
Now, in the heat of the moment, Sasuke does struggle to figure out who it is that needs to be punished. Of course, this ends up being the Hidden Leaf Village, which he now believes to be just as evil as he originally thought Itachi was. However,
well,
as
they
he
told
finds
Itachi
out more
to do
and
the
more
friggin' thing,
information
didn't they?
about
So...
what led to the annihilation of the Uchiha clan in the first place, the target for his anger becomes much more broad. As he learns more and more about the history of the shinobi world, he's forced to direct his anger at more and more people at once, which is why he goes from simply hating Itachi to hating the entire Leaf Village to wanting to reform the entire shinobi world. There's a gradual escalation in his train of thought. Itachi only killed the members of the Uchiha clan because Danzo asked him to do it. But Danzo only took Shisui's eye and ended up forcing Itachi to do this because the Leaf Village was in such a sorry state. The only reason the Leaf Village was in such a bad state is because Obito had attacked it with the Nine Tails 17 years earlier. The only reason Obito attacked the Leaf Village with the Nine Tails 17 years earlier is because of the fact that Kakashi killed Rin. The only reason Kakashi was forced to kill Rin is because of the failed shinobi system that's been in place for so long, which is why Sasuke eventually comes to the conclusion that the entire world is in need of reform. Even after learning that Itachi was a good person, Sasuke doesn't simply decide, oh okay, well I guess I'll just let everything go and go back to living in Konoha, because he wants to figure out what it was that caused him so much pain, and at least make a little bit of a dent in the world, large enough to prevent the same thing that happened to him from happening to anybody else like him. As he learns more and more about what led to the Uchiha clan massacre, the size of the dent that he needs to make seems to become larger and larger, which as a result causes his ambitions to become greater and greater. At first, the solution to this is kill Itachi, but it eventually escalates to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village, and then further to, I need to reform the entire shinobi world as we know it. So hopefully this video has given you at least a little bit of insight into the psyche of Sasuke Uchiha. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about what I think. As always, if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure you subscribe to get updates on when I upload new content, and if you enjoyed the video, maybe make sure you leave a like. As always, thank you guys for watching the video all the way to the end. I appreciate it so much. Leave a comment below with any ideas for future video topics you want me to cover, and if I like it enough, I'll definitely make sure to tackle it in the future. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hope to see you in my next video, and I'll talk to you later. Suikage out.
Cool.
Bye.
That was good. I like it. I feel a bit... I don't do much talking throughout these dissecting character videos because I just find them so interesting trying to take all the info in, so I apologise if some of you find these a bit, like, meh. But, yeah, Sasuke is a really interesting character. Like, everything... He lived his whole life based on, I have to kill my brother, he killed my family. And then when he learns Itachi's a good person, it's like, my whole life was a lie! So... Yeah. Like... Mind frizzle. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below, let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys, yes, all of you guys, next time.